Hello everybody, Pinstripe here. Welcome to this Austrian derby here between JayJay and Castor. This is the last game of week 4, so we are running maybe a little bit behind on this one. But as you can see, it is an extra special one, considering that both participants are in the same room. We have JayJay on the left, Castor on the right, sporting the wonderful Hogs of War League t-shirt. And in terms of the matchup today, we are going from round 1, starting on Uhillik, moving on to Frostfight. And if we do go to a round 3, it will be on Hill Base. So in terms of lineups, JayJay, of course, being player 1, he has a Sapper Para Scout Para Gunner, and Castor with the Med Para Sapper Sapper Gunner. So both players sporting a Gunner, which is nice to see, but Castor going with the slightly stronger lineup of the Med, but whether or not he can get the first turn, it won't. It will be JayJay to go first, but positioned on the island. Not the best place to be, but whether or not he can start effectively is going to be big here. As we kick things off with the 30-second timer ticking down as he needs to take some water damage here. Uhillik, of course, very divided. It is very easy to take some quick water damage when you're trying to get from point A to point B, forgetting that he has to go the long way around. And Castor smiling as he, I think, points that one out. But the rocket launcher is available. There's a big chance for some double damage with the water here, but sticking with the shrapnel with 3 seconds left. Whether or not he can nudge him down slightly too far to the left here, but that will still be some good damage there. A solid 50, and falls in the water as JayJay hands over the controller. This is some real old school couch multiplayer, if you will. As Castor thinks about his turn. Slightly unlucky here for JayJay with the 2v1 situation. Spawns can be a little bit unfortunate sometimes, but he will get the comfortable body block. And if that is going to be JayJay's next turn with the paratrooper, yes indeed, works well for Castor, and he maintains the controller. And I guess can continue his rampage either on that paratrooper, or yeah, he's going to turn his attention to the center part of the island and go ahead and collect the crate as well. Needs to remember to jump. And I guess a little bit of a waste of a jetpack, I suppose. But just trying to avoid water damage wherever possible, but I guess collects one back again, so doesn't really doesn't need to worry about the quantity there. But he is running out of time, and the pig, if he does slip down, that would have wasted a lot of time. But is he going to go for the scoop? He will! The famous Castor scoop. As they're going to take some decent damage there, down to 94. And it will be the scout. Again, the position here, not the best. You do have the quick jump to the left, and he can collect the mines on that in the top left corner there. So maybe combine it with some poison, maybe even get the snipe. You can get a solid 60, but whether or not we'll see some poison in this game remains to be seen just yet. But Castor, of course, with the advantage having the med, so whether or not JayJay can inflict any poison in the long run. This is an interesting maneuver as he plants 2 of the mines. Not sure on the thinking there, not sure if he meant to do that or if it's intentional, but one of the mines hides itself and the other one explodes. So I don't know if he's thinking super long term and being able to knock a pig into that mine, but a little bit indecisive as Castor is able to comfortably plant the TNT and get the easy damage on the paratrooper with the water. So he's going to take a ton of damage here as he spins around. And, okay, not too bad, but still that's going to be down to at least 30, 34. So a solid, let's see, a solid 96 damage there. So it looks like JayJay needs to, I guess, use all of these jetpacks really to bring his health down, but needs to be careful of the trees. This is a very close battle. Very difficult place to maneuver with the jetpacks, but he does it well. And can he get a decent hit here with the bazooka? He's aiming for that corner, which we know is synonymous with some crazy crazy movement from the AI when pigs are in the water. Speaking of, he has got it exactly where he wants it. And the sapper swims to the other side, down to 24 health. So there's That's the magic number, of course, for the poison. And gives JayJay a bit of an advantage here, if he can get that poison onto him later on. So, whether or not Castor will target the scout, I think he's going to stick with the gunners. They, of course, have that crazy long range, but that is, yeah, the perfect spot to get the water damage. And so far in this Austrian derby, it's pretty even. Even Steven, but that could potentially be the first kill of the game. I think so, as Jetski goes for the long swim, but he's not going to make it. So bye-bye Jetski. No more drinks for you as Castor draws first blood. And it's back to the Sapper on 135 health. So he did take a little bit of self-damage on that shrapnel. But it was a good start. It was a solid start, and he can try and do the same thing. That pig's position there is not perfect. In fact, both of them really are asking to be blasted towards the water. There's potential for the first kill here for JayJay. He's going to go for the double damage instead, which is not too bad. But it's not going to guarantee a kill unless he gets very lucky on the spin. But we shall see. I mean, he's also ducking down behind there. There is damage. But it is not a kill as the paratrooper falls down to 90 health. So that dealt a decent 38. But here is the magnificent Izzy. Of course, Castor had to put him as a gunner. And he can just easily blast him into the water there with the 34 damage from the bazooka. And finally, JayJay's other paratrooper gets to take his turn. That is one of the major benefits sometimes if you do have a tranquilized pig. If your team is the first one to lose a pig, then of course the order changes and you are able to use that tranquilized pig sooner, which means that you can stop the what we call this, the Moper, the Medicon paratrooper action. But some self damage there from JayJay does get the hit and the solid 60 onto the orderly, but he's still fairly healthy, so he's still got a bit of damage to do in order to take him out. But Castor can continue the tranquilizers as instead he looks to heal. I was thinking that was a bit strange, looking to tranquilize his own pig, but gets the heal to avoid the late poison and of course the misturn. And can he get back to deal anything? Maybe the grenade launcher. He's going for the rifle, pulls out the tranquilizer, 2 seconds to get this shot away. If he can do that, that will be quite something. No scopes him, and the fist bump. Big celebrations, very well deserved. Nice work under pressure as it comes back to the scout. And I think there needs to be some kind of poison here. Because don't forget, we've already mentioned that Castor several times has a medic. But the big strategy here could be to even get the double. I mean, yeah, you've got to go for the extra mine damage to bring his health down somewhat. The gunner isn't even damaged yet. But in poisoning pigs, it will draw Castor's medic away from the paratrooper, which in turn will be very helpful for JayJay as he looks for the double with a second to go. And that will definitely be one hit and gets the double. Nicely done. As he hands the controller back over. And there goes the mine. And both pigs now positioned very close together. But it will be the power to go next down to 65 health. So he's going to need some heals. But he does have all the jetpacks, don't forget. He collected that ×3 jetpack crate earlier. So he can now just deal all the damage onto this sapper, sorry. Nudge him down towards the water. Gets the quick release on the jetpack and can just knock him in the water. A well-placed shot here should get the kill. And that looks good to me. Won't be enough for the kill, but he will bring him down to at least 20 health. Or even better than that, down to 13. And it's back to your Huddy. Ooh, that's a dangerous number as well for JayJay. 20 HP. So he needs to, yeah, just nudge him in the water, take a strong defensive position, and, I mean, Castor hasn't come with any scouts, so he doesn't need to worry about poison. But that's always on your mind, right? You see those damage numbers and you think, damn, he's going to get poisoned. But Ricky falls, and it's now a 4v4. It's still fairly close, but considering the health of 2 of JayJay's pigs, it is very much advantage to Castor at the moment, considering as well that the orderly is still alive and fairly comfortable. But Castor's not going to forget about the scout here, seeing as he is on full health. A slight pause. Not sure if... I think that was just agreed on by both parties there. Needs to be careful of the mine, which he does with 5 seconds left. But he can get a solid 50 here. And looks to be a solid 50. Seeing as that's become the bare minimum expected from shrapnels these days. They have come quite a far way since the early days of the shrapnel masterclass. But what can JayJay conjure here? If he had the health and the time, you'd jump on his head 5 times, hit him with the rocket launcher or TNT, but I don't know. I'd honestly take the chance here and just plant a TNT and try and get some water damage to drop his health down, which looks to be what he's doing. Just taking the chance and hoping that the water deals something for you, because either way, even if he lives, you're basically guaranteed that skip turn. So the 50 are dropping down to 17. He does slide down as well. Not quite expected, but the 3 damage and the turn gained works perfectly in his favor. So just a nice TNT placement overall. And the gunner's got some work to do here. I think he needs to finish off... Yeah, just going to take the easy route. Finish off the sapper. And that's kind of the annoying part of having low health pigs everywhere. Sometimes if you don't have a jetpack, you just need to spend a turn or two to finish off those dudes. But Castor's going to maneuver elsewhere and remove the lost potential of a lost turn. So at least he'll be back up to 30 and becomes another nuisance for JayJay to deal with. His 30 is not the best number, but if he can use his paratrooper, this is going to be an awkward position for Castor. You can't quite see him from there, and there's no real way of getting it, so can he get the... Oh my goodness, 2 just insane tranquilizer shots from Castor in this match so far. High quality plays, and I think jumping on Andy's head twice, getting the poison, is going to be a must here, but again, needs to be careful of that mine he placed earlier as he slips down. But if he can gain that turn and then use it to finish off the paratrooper who's on 30 health, he'll be sitting quite comfortably. It's still a very, very close game, all things considered. But with 3 seconds left, should get this away, which he does. And that will be potentially another turn gained here for JayJay, unless Castor can get there and say no. He's going to try and plant this, I think, in between both of the pigs to avoid losing that turn. And it looks a bit short. Oh, no. Oh, no. The 9 damage, but the water as well. Would you believe it? Unbelievable scenes. So it's now a 4v2 as the scout falls. And just unbelievable there with the health. Just couldn't quite get it. But he should have, I believe, just looking at the lineups, I think he might have another opportunity to take care of him. Actually, I don't think so. But he's going to go for just taking out the para, I think. Yeah, trying to get double damage, maybe? Oh, no, but the self-damage as well brings him down to 6 health. Double damage is great, but again, JayJay's really got to have to rely on his other paratrooper now. And Castor does lose that turn. So all of a sudden, it is a 2v2. And yet again, the pistol comes out here for Castor. So he does have the advantage. The para is slowly losing health on the other side of the map. But he can finally use him But will he make it count? I'd say look to nudge him towards the water, get the kill, and then bring it down to a 1v1. Put the pressure on Castor, who is also poisoned, don't forget. But JayJay needs to make this count and get the kill to stay in this first round. As he swims with 7 seconds left. Just needs to get this on target. And that looks a little bit short. If he can just get the easy... No, it's not enough. Down to 6 health. So any damage here is good for Castor. As it should seal it, really. He should be able to finish this one off. In fact, yeah, I'd just go for the rocket launcher. Go for the big damage. Yes, finish in style. It will bring him down to just 1 health, but I think that basically guarantees the win here for Castor. Unless some extraordinary circumstances occur. We have seen it before many, many times. Final shots in games, especially with bazookas, have really come down to the wire. If you remember my game against Jay Warren, all I had to do was shoot the bazooka shot on target to deal a pig that had barely 5 health. And I completely fluffed it up. So it is possible. He is still technically in the game, as he does have that final jetpack. And landing on the tree. Oh, no, that would have actually been a good vantage point, to be fair. But sadly, time lost as well from the kill. And if he can get this bazooka away, he can still remain in this game. Down to 43 health. It's too short. It's not enough. No. If he'd have got a direct hit there, that would have been it for Castor. But it comes down to the 1v1. And all he needs to do here is hit this on target. Goes for the low angle to avoid the tree. And that should be it for round 1. As he hits him direct. Bounces around. And falls in the drink, of course. What a game for round 1. Castor takes the victory. Nicely deserved. And we move on to round 2 on Frostfight. So welcome back, everybody, to round 2. Moving on to Frostfight. We know the basic strategy for this one. The guided missiles are going to be a huge part of this. And as you can see, JayJay sorting out his lineup. He is going to be going for a Para, Grenadier, Scout, Medic, Scout. So double poison. Oh, sorry, my bad. No, Para, Gren, Sapper, Medic, Scout. So again, coming with the poison, coming with the Grenadier and Medic combination. But surprisingly going 2nd and 4th rather than 1st and 2nd. But that Para is going to be very important. And Castor is kind of sticking with the default meta for Frostfight of the double Para, Scout, Gunner, Scout. So Castor is bringing the double Scouts, double Paras, and the single Gunner. That's, I think, the first time, or at least the first time I've seen Castor bring a Gunner on his lineup for game 1 and 2. But the other advantage here, of course, is that it will be Castor to go first. So that's going to be yet another big advantage. But both players, at least, are starting with a single Para. So at the very least, they both have a chance to get the guided missiles, which is ×3 usage, by the way. So there's potential there if we do the if we do the maths on it. There's potential there for 225 damage with those 3 guided missiles. So whether or not the game will let Castor go first, no, still JayJay. Still going strong. So as we wait, let's take a look at the current position of both players, as finally Castor is able to go first. So both these guys currently in Group B. JayJay is working with a single win and 2 losses so far in 5th place, losing to Nicholas and Axby, but he did get the win against Fab. Meanwhile, Castor just with the 2 wins, no losses so far, and those wins coming against Fab and Jax. So Castor currently sitting in 3rd place. Oh no, and he does slip down as well. But I guess the guarantee here, though, is that his 2nd turn is with another paratrooper. But he does make it on the high ground, but does not make it to the guided missile. Plenty of laughs going on the sofa. That's an unfortunate first turn for Castor. But JayJay can retaliate and get the first damage in. And considering Castor is not really bringing anyone of note, as he goes ahead and steals the crate that Castor was going to get, and removes himself from the high ground instead. Does take out the guided missile, but that is a dangerous position to stand in. There is potential to be knocked off the map if you aren't so careful, as he looks for the paratrooper. And I think that was at least 63 damage there. And the full damage too, so even better for JayJay. But Castor can do a take two here and look to get the other guided missile crate. That's what I was about to say earlier. The benefit of bringing those double paras is that if you do happen to mess up that first turn, the second para can be pretty handy in getting the next one. But the jetpack not so good here from Castor. He's going to lose some time. I think he just wanted to make sure that he has plenty of space, plenty of room, and he will be able to grab the crate here and should be able to get it off in time with just a second remaining. Castor has a choice of some good targets. Like I said, considering JayJay has brought both his Grenadier and Medic, but gets the damage on the Sapper, which is also equally as good. But this is really where JayJay needs to shine. And if I was him, I would look to damage one of the scouts at least. Seeing as you want to minimize the use of poison wherever possible. But of course he needs to find them first. That's going to be the trickier part here. And it does take a bit of self damage from the water. And looks to go for the body block. I would honestly change position here. Swap that around. But instead looks to delete the paratrooper. No, changes his mind. Goes for the gunner, who is perhaps the least important pig on the map right now. But there's still some decent damage. And I think even if Castor does get the win today, he will only go second. Like I said, seeing as this is the final game of week 4. At the moment, Angurio is steaming ahead in Group B. Currently undefeated on 12 points. He's basically assured himself a place in the playoffs already. But Castor making good work of the crate collection. Does get the additional jetpack. And the anti-P mine, and will get the poison on the high priority target. It's a little bit wayward as he poisons his own gunner. And yeah, as he puts both his hands on his head there, clearing his hairdo and questioning his amount of power in that throw. Shake of the head, bit of hydration, and we go again with the Sapper. A little bit of nerves maybe showing again as from Castor as well. You think this would have been a pretty straightforward game, but I suppose in the circumstances of it being maybe a little bit casual as well. This is not something we see very often. Two players from the same country being able to play in the same room. But boy, do we love it. So, JayJay gets the TNT across onto the poisoned gunner. So, taking advantage of the low health. That Grenadier hit really coming in handy. But the 2 health should be fairly easy for Castor to clean up. Unless he gets unlucky here. No! Doesn't get the extra turn. Celebrations from Castor. But that is... that's the luck of the slipperiness on this snowy map. Castor showing his skills with the shortcuts. Grabs the cluster grenade and can potentially delete the paratrooper here. That could be a big play. No, doesn't get it. You can see he was looking to nudge the para out of bounds. But the second detonation was just not quick enough. But still decent damage. However, JayJay can heal up a little bit with the plus 20. And I would collect that... Oh, interesting. I would collect the crate as well, just to make sure he doesn't take any extra damage from that. And I believe that should be a jetpack? Yes, just the ×1. So many different weapons on this map. So many opportunities for damage and mobility. You'll find cluster bombs, as we've seen, anti-P mines, all sorts of crazy goodies. But we do have a cluster of pigs in this corner now. Everyone's getting very close together. And Castor's going to take advantage of that by nudging these two together and looking to get the double damage if he can. That's a decent hit with the jetpack. And just needs to spin around and plant it primarily onto the para, which is a good maneuver because he avoids all the damage on his own pig, and those two are still placed very close together. So again, a lot of work for JayJay here. But my question to our audience today is, who do you think is going to make it through in Group B? There's a lot of contenders. And despite being in last place, I do have to say, on a personal note, that Fab the Zen, despite his defeats, has been a real trooper throughout this campaign. And indeed just this season overall. There's a lot of pluses to take, even if you haven't got any wins so far. Best thing to do is take note of your weaknesses and areas that didn't quite go so well, and try and build on that going into the next game. So shout out to Fab. But that's going to be huge damage here for Castor. All three pigs taking just a massive hit from the guided missile. From a neutral perspective, we do love to see that, and it is a kill as well, and even more damage onto the orderly. Big smiles from Castor, as you can see why. Snowski down to 10, the orderly not looking too happy. So a lot of work for JayJay once again. I keep saying it, but it just seems like a mountain to climb at this point. But if you can keep these two alive, it's going to be very, very handy. But the para is poisoned and down to 48 health. He just needs to deal with the pig on the hill. And he can do that as long as he selects it. He can get some damage onto that para. Will it be full? Roughly. I think about 73, but there will be fall damage, so basically full. But this scout's still on full health. I think Castor needs to deal with that grenadier as soon as possible, but I think his primary target will be the orderly. Once he's taken care of the sapper, gets the nice jetpack placement, doesn't waste any time. Thankfully the pig not falling in the water, so he can continue. And is keeping his distance so not to bunch up. But with a pig tranquilized, his other para on 48 and poisoned, he's taking the risk. But doesn't have the power to get it up the hill. And they're only down to 6 health now. So if I was JayJay, I would look to kamikaze. Or even go for a rifle burst. Just to bring his health down to 3 and try and get the extra turn. But he will heal beforehand. So the scout is at least up to 135. And yeah, just as expected. Position is not great here. It's a tricky one. Because he wants to guarantee that turn gained. But if he isn't able to kill himself, then that will be a turn lost. And Castor technically has less work to do, considering it's only 3 health. But I think, yeah, after losing that turn, poison really coming in handy here for JayJay. And just getting the stronger lineup. But I'm just looking at the distance between that orderly and the para that he shot in the face. I think he's slightly too far away to damage him when he dies. But that will be another turn gained here for JayJay if he gets this on target. Needs the 30 damage and gets it. So very nice positioning with the body block. 2 turns gained, unless Castor can respond. But now back to the Grenadier, and he can shake of the head from Castor, but JayJay can take out the other para here with just a simple high explosive grenade. And we've gone from just within a flick of a switch, really. This match has turned on its head, and it's very much advantage to JayJay. You thought that Castor would start much stronger than he did, but that very first turn, the mistake, just cost him dearly, because he had the opportunity to get that early damage in, but after missing the crate collection, JayJay sprung into action and got that early damage with the guided missile. So what does Castor do from here? Well, he still has to deal with the Grenadier, who is still sitting comfortable, and even with a scout here, it's not exactly a strong position for Castor, but he will go for the poison, which is playing the long game. But in all honesty, the last person you want to be facing is a Grenadier, as he does gain that turn after the orderly wasn't able to stay alive, but he does lose that next turn himself, so controller stays with JayJay, and it is a 2v1. Me oh my, all he needs to do is get some damage in, and it should be left up to the Grenadier to finish things off. Unless Castor can produce some kind of wizardry. But I have a sneaky suspicion that we are going to go to Hill Base, which I have not seen either of these players play on, to be honest. It is one of the unused maps in Hogs, and a welcome addition to the competitive scene. So even more TNT, no, I keep saying TNTs, even more jetpacks here from Castor. Coming in handy as a scout of all people. Gives himself the high ground as well, and can collect even more crates here. Another jetpack, and that should be, I believe, a rocket launcher. Yes, indeed, ×3 as well. So he now has a wee bit more firepower. I thought he was going to no-scope it then. That would have been quite something. But he'll be down to 24 health. But with no more poisons, Castor is going to have to rely on some decent splash damage to gain the extra turn. But if there can just be a well-placed cluster here, or even just a high explosive grenade. He does have the guide missile as well, but this should be enough, so long as he can get the destination on target. No pressure for JayJay. No pressure whatsoever. And it's decent. And that should really be it, considering that it will be the scout next, but he is comfortable with his health. And Castor, of course, is going to use the hide. He will never lie down in a fight, and will use everything to his availability to stay in this match. As JayJay is thinking about what to do. And I would just try and get a well-placed grenade launcher up there, just whittle his health down a little bit. He's got some mines, which would be perfect at close range, but sadly not going to happen here. And with 10 seconds remaining, what do you do? Hide? Counter the hide with a hide, maybe? No, he's going to go with a grenade launcher, but needs to get it on time, and just losing out there. But I think it's still too big of an uphill climb for Castor. He is still going to try and get that 70. And I honestly would have saved that. I would have saved that jetpack for the Grenadier. Drop him down to 4 health. Gain the turn. But either way, he's going to, I guess, yeah, go for the 15 damage. So I guess he didn't really need it anyway. So he will look to get a rocket launcher away, I suppose. But in all honesty, it is still greatly in JayJay's favor, even with the guided missile, unless he can get him out of bounds. But that still seems like too much of a stretch, really. But he will go for the guided missile, and he will aim it away, swing it back around. And even though we can't see him here either, that's not the best. I still feel like that's, again, tricky times. Does get the damage! And is it enough? No! A slight moment there where it was possible for the pig to explode out of bounds, but makes it back on. And JayJay can finish it here, as once again we come down to a 1v1 with these two. This Austrian derby has been just so close. But it will be JayJay who takes round 2. And boy oh boy, we are going to Hill Base. So, welcome back everybody to the third and final round of this Austrian derby here. Moving on to Hill Base for this final mission between these two. It has been just red hot from the get-go. And in terms of lineups here, JayJay starting with the Sapper. Very interesting choice for a map like Hill Base before moving on to the Scout. His Med will be going third and then finishing with the Para and Scout. So he does still have the maneuverability. But again, you do take the risk of going with a Sapper first, because if you don't get a good spawn, then you're going to have a long way to walk. And Castor has saved his best to last, as he goes with the Med, Gren, Para, Sapper, and Scout. So we will be seeing some poison, I imagine. We will be seeing plenty of jetpacks, because there are indeed health crates on this map. 3 in total. You have the 2 in either corner, and then the 1 that is on the other side of the map, that is a bit more central. Normally there would be bridges on this map if it had all of its items included, but sadly not. And unfortunately for JayJay, it will be Castor to get the MoMA. But it won't even be the Orderly to go first and lose his turn. It will be the Sapper. So from here, what do you do? Do you go for the damage on the Orderly, or do you focus down somebody else? It doesn't really look like anyone's on the high ground, so if anyone's going to want to go from point A to point B, they're going to have to run. There's going to be a lot of running in this game, I think. And he does go for the Shrapnel, which can be tricky on this first turn, because you want to kind of guarantee some damage, but if he can get a 50, and he does, so decent start. Again, 50 is not that amazing these days. They're pretty not tedious, but just, you know, we've seen plenty of 50s, right? They're not that exciting anymore. It's just kind of the norm. I said it already, but it is true. Castor goes with the okay, Cluster Bomb. Not the biggest amount of damage he would have wanted, but the Para is down. And this is where JayJay needs to, if he wasn't on the other side of the map, he would be looking to get to the Orderly and deal some poison damage, but it's a long way to go, and he needs to make it count. Castor just with a huge advantage at the moment. The single tranquilizer is going to be big, and it looks like JayJay is trying to focus down the Grenadier, which is a good move. Drop him down to 30 health. And just trying to get rid of him as soon as he can. Now this could be a vital turn here for Castor, because look at the positioning. Both scouts very close together, and there's potential for the bunching up. But the other question I have here is, will he use all of his jetpacks? Because if he does, that leaves him vulnerable later when the crates drop in. But he does get the double damage, and they slide down. All 3 of them close together with 3 seconds left. Can he get the shot away? Yes, he can. And once again, we see triple damage across 3 different pigs. And the turn lost as well as he hands back the controller. My goodness. And yeah, Castor realizing there that he has a long way to go on the other side of the map. That would have been perfect for him to continue the damage spree. But considering the distance, he's not going to make it. And he's going to have to use every second available. Yeah, and pulls out the Shrapnel, which is a good way of extending your runtime. Because if you're going to throw it full power, then, you know, you can keep running forward, which I suspect he will do in just a moment. As the timer goes down to 1 second. And yes, he's going to kind of blindly throw this, I think. As it bounces down, doesn't make it. But still maneuvers to where he needs to be. So kind of all the pigs are roughly where they need to be at this point. Everyone's in the area to deal some damage, and, well, JayJay has a bit of a mountain to climb, really, considering that triple damage across all 3. That's really what you like to see. Just an even damage spread across all the pigs. So that in the long run, the advantage at the moment is very much with Castor, as JayJay looks to do the same thing, using all his available jetpacks. Can he get the bazooka away, though? No, it's not enough. And that's going to be huge for Castor here if he's able to just, I mean, even a single poison here is going to be huge. But on both of the scouts, if he can get the double, That should be bread and butter for Castor as it spins around. And oh my goodness, the scout already down to 27 health. Things are not looking pretty right now for JayJay. And is he going to look to poison? No, he's just going to look to delete the Grenadier. That's a decent move. He will take the 20... Oh no! And the double hit. That's so unlucky. Hitboxes ends up dealing 60 damage onto his own sapper, who in turn runs back onto the field. And down come the crates on Castor's turn, but it is on the opposite side, so not too bad. There is a jump you can do on this, on the current side, the opposite corner. You don't need a jetpack to get up there, so it's going to be interesting to see which of these players is able to collect that crate when it comes down and potentially use that jump without the need for a jetpack. But JayJay is maneuvering elsewhere. He's looking to get the distance and I guess a more defensive position. Goes a bit more central, which is not a bad maneuver. Wants to avoid the clustering of pigs, I suppose. But with the paratrooper on 78 and both of his scouts not looking healthy, he is looking to bunch up Castor's pigs instead. But still with the huge advantage of the tranquilized orderly and the low health scouts. JayJay is going to need to get some poison in as soon as he can. Because as we mentioned in the previous rounds, the poison will draw the orderly away. We'll use up Castor's time and put just that little bit more pressure on him, but right now he is just cruising as he drops that pig's health down to 2. And JayJay can rectify that with 2 head jumps, but it looks like he is prioritizing poison or damage here. I'm not sure. Instead, he looks to do the same thing. No, just a wee bit indecisive. Instead goes for the damage here, but I honestly would have gone for the poison plus the head jumps. Unless he's just he's waiting and making one of his other pigs do the head jumps, perhaps. Not entirely sure, but again, Castor, of course, took note of the health of both scouts beforehand, so he knows the damage numbers needed to gain the extra turns. And that looks to be another solid 50. Oh, one position next to each other as well. Would you believe it? There's the turn lost and the health crate comes down. So Castor can bump his health up to 190 if he wanted to. But with both pigs just... Oh, he's... bumps him down to 1. And can look to get the extra poison again, I think. On anybody, really. It's just, at the moment, plain sailing for Castor. So with 3 seconds to go, he will get the poison onto... Ooh, just about gets the poison onto the sapper. And was hoping for it to swing the other way, but sadly was not to be. And with no jetpacks remaining... Or does he have 1? I mean, even if he did, he would still be losing a turn. So the damage would not be enough. Well, unless the other scout was to go first. But even so, there's potential for a kill. No jetpacks, so it is not to be. So he can take out the para, which you could knock towards your own scouts to at least kill one of them. So you avoid the double. But he, again, losing the time and instead just randomly blasts it into the air. I think JayJay losing confidence a little bit, and Castor is, like I said, cruising. So, yeah, I don't want to call it too soon, because this game still has a fair bit to go, but the scout does fall, and first blood goes to Castor. Actually, no, sorry. First blood technically went to JayJay after the Grenadier fell, but Dusky down to 6 health. And this, I think, is where Castor will not look to collect the health crate. Nobody wants health. Everybody is fine, apparently. Maybe it's just my paranoia, but whenever I see health crates, I need to collect them. because any disadvantage you can provide to your opponent is going to be huge, but Castor looks to be focusing down the orderly, which is a decent maneuver, 37 damage, and the skip turn, not before the sapper drops to 65 health. He could have been the one to deal the damage, but it seems neither player really knows the secret jump on that right side to get the health crate. Because if JayJay did, I think he would have gone for it, to be honest. But I think he does slip off as well. So he does fall down to the opposite side, which is not the best place to be. But he does get the kill on the sapper. Sorry, on the paratrooper. So we'll go back to the other sapper, and Castor can easily clean up here, because it will be 2 turns lost for JayJay. So the paratrooper will fall, and it basically means, if Castor can clean up the orderly, that the sapper will be the last pig standing. As the scout falls, everybody's dying for JayJay. It's not looking pretty. And I think Castor will be looking to draw it out with another poison. No, instead goes for the damage. I guess we'll look to do the head jumps and maybe finish his turn with a with a bazooka, perhaps. Or a grenade launcher, I suppose, if he's going to go with the orderly next. But either way, another turn lost. Just turn after turn being lost here. And Castor can basically put the final nail in the coffin with these head jumps. Because with a poison sapper, he's going to be down to 55 health on this next turn. Unless Castor can get some extra damage on it. Which honestly, it will be a grenade launcher. If you can get the full 30, we'll be looking at a 25. No, it doesn't get it over. But in all honesty, it is pretty much game over. Because there is such a long distance for JayJay to run here. I think he's going to remain in a somewhat defensive position. The orderly still on full health. And he's just drawing it out a little bit as he rolls it over. No, early detonation. Couldn't quite get it. And Castor has an even further distance to travel, really, to get some damage. But if it was me, I would look to just use the grenade launcher. But shrapnels are coming out. And any damage at this point will seal the victory. As we've basically established that it is game over. But he does slip over. Needs to get it away. Goes for the crazy kamikaze. Oh my goodness. Well, that's certainly a way to finish it. As we get a nice high five there from the guys. Beautiful way to end it. Castor takes the victory 2-1. So props to him, and I hope you guys enjoyed this special commentary. Big thank you to the guys for recording their reaction live from Castor's room. So we will be moving on to week 5. Hope you can join us for the upcoming games and the ones left in this season. I've been your host, Pinstripe. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch you all later for the next one.